Aloha my friends, my name is Pacha and in this video we will take a deep dive look at all the animals and new pieces of the new Oceania DLC, which will release tomorrow on the 19th of September for all of you guys to buy and play around with. Before we start, huge thank you and shout out to Frontier for providing me with early access to the pack as well as update 15. Without them I couldn't do these videos, so thank you guys for the ongoing support of my channel. And also speaking about update 1.15, there is also at the same time a video live on my channel where I go over all the new stuff that comes with the new update. So if you wanna have more info about that, I highly recommend watching the video. There is also now a link in the top right corner that brings you directly to that footage and video stuff. So if you want to have more info after this one, I highly recommend checking that out. And with that said, I would say we start right in with the animals, with all the new 5 animals. Then after that we go over all the new pieces and plans, and in the end we look at some miscellaneous stuff. The first animal that comes with the DLC is our new walkthrough exhibit animal, the spectacled flying fox. I think a huge surprise for all of us that have been expecting something like a lorikeet or either some other bird or exhibit animal. And we are getting a new bat species, a more bigger bat species with the spectacled flying fox. It works in the similar way as all walkthrough animals, and also it works pretty much the same as the Egyptian fruit bat it was, exactly, from the Twilight pack. So it also uses the same enrichment items as the Egyptian fruit bat because they are both fruitivores, I think. They feed on fruit and nectar, and that is how they work. And yeah, I'm still not sure if I would have preferred something like a lorikeet or a budgie for this exhibit, but still it is nice to have the options with a new bat species, to have some differentiation between them and to can decide which one I want to have, the more tropical one or the more arid one. So really nice. It also, the model of course as always looks really amazing with all the coloration, so really cool to have it. And yeah, I can't see what people do with the animal. But now let's talk of course about the highlights of this pack, which are the habitat animals. And as we are seeing right now, we have the ever smiling adorable Quokka over here. Also something most people didn't want it or didn't expect it, because most people were voting for a tree kangaroo, obviously, because this is something we still don't have in the game, which would be something really amazing. But yeah, we have now the Quokka, I think one of the smallest marsupials that are existing on this planet. They are, which I didn't know, a variant or a type of kangaroo, which also explains their movement, and they are sometimes also hop around in the enclosure. But I have to say, Frontier really nailed it with this super tiny, I have to say, animal. You can have a whole ton of them in your enclosure. They are a walkthrough species, so you can have guests enter their habitat, and they have, what is called, they have, so they can share the habitat, exactly, that was one point. They can share the habitat with the emo. They get enrichment from sharing the habitat with the emo. And come on, if you look at that face, you can't say that it isn't cute and that it's cool to have them. They are so cute animals, I have to say. I'm really looking forward to build for them, to build from some nice walkthrough exhibits for them, and maybe make some selfies like it is a trend on the internet. The next animal is of course our flagship animal, what is it called? The North Island brown kiwi, exactly. A very unique bird that I think no one was really expecting to get in this game. I mean, it was high on the meta wish list, but yeah, it is still a very odd species that is rarely found in zoos around the world. But still, it is cool to have them. They have a lot of unique animations when they are pecking on the ground, searching for food. When they also run a little bit, very funny, and sometimes scream. A very nocturnal bird, so best to house them in some sort of nocturnal house. And yeah, they can also use the termite mount enrichment, which is very cool, as well as some other feeders that are made for more insect-based diet. And they also can of course use the burrow, where they give birth to their adorable little young here. This is very cute. It is such a good model, and Frontier really nailed it with this bird. Yeah, I think one of my favorites of this pack, one of our 2 birds, so really cool to have them. We asked so long for it. We wished for it to be in so many different packs, and now it is finally here. The Tasmanian Devil. I think no animal was more asked for than this on the community forums, on Discords, on streams and everything like that. There wasn't one pack where people hoped we would get this angry little fellow over here. One of the, I think, only carnivore mammals, no, I would say one of the only carnivores that give birth to them babies in pouches. So really cool and a very unique animal of the Tasmanian Islands, and their babies are just adorable. Got a first look at them now, but they look really adorable. It of course, I think one of the best models of this pack. Frontier did a stellar job to catch the uniqueness of this animal and the real world uniqueness of animals, a bit ugly uniqueness, because they aren't your pretty bird or your pretty gazelle, gazelle. I don't know even more, but yeah, it is really cool to finally have them. As I said, I wasn't too keen about it, I wasn't too excited about it, because for myself I didn't really care about the Tasmanian Devil, but I see why people would want to have it in their zoos. They are a very unique and very active species, so nice to finally get them in the game. And our final animal is of course the little blue penguin, or as the game calls it, the little penguin. I don't know if this is an error because of my early access, or if that is how Frontier intends to call them, because in the real world they are either called the little blue penguin or the fairy penguin, the smallest penguin species on the planet, and I think for me the cutest animal in this pack because of how tiny they really are. You can see one diving down here, but of course we also have some on land. I would say if they are not all in the burrow or all in the water. They're all in the burrow apparently, because they can use the burrow. There they are. A whole ton of baby birds, baby birds also, but a ton of very tiny penguins all sleeping in the burrow. I think I haven't seen that many in here, but it is really cool that they can use the burrow. Here we have a baby, a baby on the beach, and there finally is one outside of the burrow. Yeah, they are really tiny, they look really good. They don't need a lot of space, they don't even need a lot of deep water space to dive. They need at least 2 meter deep water, but I think I have around 20 in here, and this is all they need, so 89 square meter of water, of deep water. They really don't need a lot, which is super cool. We can make some really small deep water areas for these penguins and see them diving, which is, I think, all we would have wished for. So yeah, the blue penguin, I think, is also the one I will be building for first. And this is our final animal of this pack. So let's now move over to all the new pieces and plants and everything that we get with the Oceania DLC. Strap in, folks, this could be a longer one because Frontier is providing us with over 200 new pieces with this Oceania DLC. Yeah, some of them plants, some of them path items, and then a whole lot of new construction pieces. So it can take a little bit now. And if I don't say anything specifically, assume that all of these pieces are flexicolor, so you can change their colors. Because I don't want to see it on every piece that they are flexicolor, so I mostly assume that, yeah, I would say 90%, if not even 95% are flexicolor in this pack, which is really cool. But let's first start with the plants of this pack, where we have a whole bunch of new ones. We have this new wonderful cabbage tree, which I never heard from, but I saw them in some parks and some botanical gardens. Really cool. We have what seems like 3 stages, from a small plant over here to a middle one than the big or grown one, but of course you can also sink them in the ground to make a lower one. Then we have the coastal pig face. This one plant I know because I saw it in botanical gardens and some people have it at home with these very thick leaves. Basically, we get 3 variants, and then we get one with some flowers, which is always really cool, and they are really lovely, bright, vibrant pink flowers. Then we move over to the king fern, our biggest fern, and I don't know if it is supposed to be in the ground a little bit or if it's supposed to be that high. Haven't seen that plant, have to look it up, and yeah, it looks really cool. Can see us making some really nice fern forests, some really lush and yeah, maybe even a bit dark forest with these big ferns, and then some kiwis running underneath these leaves, so it's really cool. Moving on, we have the Nikau, I hope I pronounced that right, Nikau palm, which comes also in these 3 stages of just the leaves. Then we have this little tree and then this big one. Also from Oceania, of course, also from the temperate biome, which is really cool. Most of the plants, despite looking like ferns and palms, are from the temperate biome, so really cool to have them. And then lastly, in the plant section, we have the silver fern, which looks like an ancient plant that you would see in dinosaur movies and such like things. And I can guess that they haven't changed since the dinosaurs went extinct, so really cool. They have this silvery color underneath, I think, which gets them their name. Moving on, you probably already saw it in the teaser trailer or in some pictures. We have faux lava. We have 4 different variants. We have cooled lava, we have cooling lava, we have flowing lava, and we have molten lava. None of them move, but they are glow in the dark, so at night they will shine bright yellow, shine a bright orange. You can't change the color, sadly, but it is cool. I don't really know what you would do with that apart from some very thematic areas in your zoo, or recreating Mustafa from Star Wars, some stuff like that. But it is cool to have them, and of course they are an essential part of the Polynesian islands, where lava creates new islands and makes new room for the animals and people living on these islands. Right, let's move on to the path. We have a new, I don't know if it has a name, I think it is called the volcanic rock path, exactly. Here you can see it without any curbs and barriers. Here you can see it with the curbs, with these other wooden curbs, and then this is the fencing or the barrier around it, which is really cool with this netting and almost beach-like wood and everything like that. But because, of course, we also get a new bench, we get a new bin, and a new picnic table over here, as well as a new canopy for the picnic table. At least this is what it's called. I think you would place it like this. It looks really cool with this little top part, open part over here. Very reminiscent of Hawaii and their restaurants and communal areas there. All of them, of course, recolorable. But as I said, if I don't say anything otherwise, they are always recolorable. Moving on to the real construction pieces, we of course get a new statue of the lovely Kiwi with the new campaign scenario, and if you play that scenario you can unlock a bronze, silver and gold variant of this Kiwi. Then we have these new signs, and I feel like they get bigger every time. And especially the Quokka is, I mean, this is just a meme. Just a meme basically printed as a sign. They, of course, still have this amazing naturalistic look, naturalistic style that they now keep for the signs. But I would have wished for some smaller variants, because they are pretty large, and we have to see how we can make these work. Moving on, we have our first construction pieces in form of this oceanic canoe boat. We have an outrigger and a sail, and this is also a complete piece. If you don't want to assemble it yourself, this is how the whole boat looks. Very how these Polynesian boats looks, with which they traveled and discovered the ocean thousands of years ago. So very cool to have some, yeah, almost like a museum piece over here, but also to set a scene in your maybe island zoos. And moving on, we of course also have some surfboards. This is the same surfboard, just turned around to show you the back side. Recolorable as always, and really cool to have them to make some, yeah, Hawaiian beach surfing huts and something like that. Really nice, and yeah, something that you could also maybe put in a gift shop or something for your guests to buy from their zoo trip. Then we have this decorative buoy. I hope I pronounced that right. One in a yeah, not colored version and in an uncolored version, a colored version and uncolored version over here. Then we go over to some decorative panels in 2 different variants. Then we have a driftwood door. So the whole idea of this set is really like beach, Polynesian, driftwood, stuff like that comes to the shore and then it's used to build houses. So really cool, the whole theme. Yeah, we have this driftwood door. We have some driftwood fences, a 2-meter one and a 4-meter one, which look just amazing, and I can't wait to use them. We have a driftwood fence post, and then we have some flooring, 2.55 and 1 plank. They are quite big, but still could be used nicely as a cover for your paths, for example, to make some bridges or stuff like that look really and stand out. Then we have a whole array of driftwood posters large. We have these large ones, 4 and 6 meter. We have a medium one in different sizes. Then we have a small one, and then we have a thin one where we even have a 2.5 meter version. So a whole array of the new different woods, which aren't straight. So you could build some nice things out of that. Moving on, we have a driftwood window. Then, which is really cool, we have a drum barrel, which is, I think, something really cool for backstage area, stuff like that, to, yeah, store some liquids or other things, or just to store stuff. It's really cool also for some decorative areas in more coastal or watery exhibits. Then we have 2 types of layer, so these flower ornaments that you get when you are visiting Hawaii, which are supposed to bring luck. So really cool. And then we have, which I think many people who are building aviaries and such things will be happy about, we have some nets. We have some curved nets. We have a whole array of flat nets, which you can also, of course, recolor, which is always amazing. And then we have these hanging fishing nets over here that you can add to your buildings or to a coastal oceanic theme. So really cool. Then I think this is one of my favorite new pieces. We have these rock wall blocks, which of course I do have to say that I don't think I do. That's why they are really cool that we have these blocks which aren't even flat. They are 3D. They have nooks and crannies. They have bumps. So it's really cool that Frontier is giving us these without us spending a huge amount of pieces to build them ourselves. Then we move over to some roof toppers, really cool, and then a whole array of different rope coils, either one with multiple ropes or one with single ropes. Super cool and super useful for all kinds of stuff, and yeah, you can also recolor them, so it's really nice that you get more rope items. So yeah, really, really nice. Moving on, we have the animal statues of this pack of our 4 main habitat animals: the Kiwi, the penguin, and the Quokka and the Devil. Really cool in this more Maori tiki themed style, looking really adorable and cute, and I think it will be useful. Then we move on to, what are they called? Skirts. Yeah, they are these hula skirts, the sleeve skirts, but of course you can also turn them around or use them for a whole array of different other things, or for some window shutters or stuff like that. So really cool. And then we move to the biggest pieces. We have the Oceanian thatch roof. So we have a new thatch roof variant, the 4th one. And don't let you we can only, as always, only recolor the wood underneath. We can't recolor the thatch. Frontier, when do you will give us recallable fetch? I think never. But what is really cool is that none of these roof pieces are on a grid. Even the large ones you can turn around as much as you want. The small pieces, the usual pieces, all of the set roof pieces are gridless, so we can really make our desired roof sizes. So that is really, really cool. This is already it from this section, and we are moving on to some decorative items with these tiki heads. We get a small and big one, we get some for the wall, we get a whole tiki statue, we get a brazier that you can put on top of the tiki statue, which you also probably saw in the trailer. So they have a crown, a burning crown. We have this new lamppost with the tiki torch. We have some tribal ores for some wall decorations, I would guess, which are, from what I saw, a huge part of Hawaiian and Polynesian culture, these ores. Then we have some more wood panels with this lovely ornament on it, and some wooden plinth for our tikis to sit on. And then we get to the last category, which is the building set or the wall set of this pack, which is the woven bark building set. Of course, as you can see here, recolorable with some nice grunge that you can also recolor or wear, what they call it. Really cool. But yeah, of course, most of it are on the grid, but which I think interesting is these parts aren't. So I would say everything until here, and you got the usual pieces are on the grid, and then you have all these gridless pieces which are on the grid, which is really cool. Even some things like a door or a window opening here, which is not on the grid, and some higher and long and larger walls. So really cool that they finally give us more gridless pieces of these wall sets. Really cool to see that. Overall, I would say it's a very nice selection. It is very themed in some parts, especially with the tiki hats and with the surfboard, stuff like that. But there's also a lot of stuff that you can use a wave, or that you can use without a real Polynesian oceanic theme, with the whole netting, so these driftwoods especially also these stones and ropes that you can use in any type of situation. Even for backstage or for more coastal areas, even for some cold coastal areas, for example. So really cool that they've again gave us a lot of options how we can use these pieces. So last point, let's move on to the miscellaneous stuff. When you buy the DLC, you of course get also access to a brand new outfit for your player character, which he will wear whenever he is visiting someone else's zoo. And in this case, we are getting a lovely Hawaiian-inspired Hawaii shirt. I don't know how this is how they call it over here, where I come from, and some nice cargo shirts, and then this very happy, adorable Quokka hat. Interesting choice that they went with the Quokka, but of course it's a happy animal. We want to be happy when visiting a zoo, so why not wear a happy animal on our hat? But yeah, this is not all. Apart from this player character, you of course also get access to a new career scenario, this time with Emma, the daughter of Bernie Goodwin. You want to save an ocean paradise from collapsing, and this is the way how you unlock the bronze, silver and gold variant of the Kiwi. So this is everything miscellaneous that I have to show you. Now let's go over to my final thoughts about this DLC. So, what are my final thoughts on the DLC? I have to say, since I wasn't really happy, or I wasn't really sure about this DLC when it was first teased and then announced, I have to say, it is a really good DLC. I usually say that about DLCs, but I have to say, it isn't the perfect DLC for myself, because I'm more of a cold climate builder, you know, Raven Creek and all that stuff. But even then, I can see the huge value of these animals, and especially also of the pieces of this DLC. And I'm really happy about that Frontier is giving us these very iconic and also very small animals this time. So we have more small animals for some smaller sections, or some random sections in our zoo. We don't have to build a huge big enclosure for them. They don't need a lot of space, especially the penguins. I'm really happy about. So yeah, I have to say, could there have been things done better? Yes, especially with the bats, a parakeet or but she wouldn't have been too much to ask for, I guess. And also, yeah, Quokka or Tree Kangaroo, that is everyone's own decision what would have been better. I'm happy with the Quokka. I know some people aren't, but hey, this is how it is now. We have to, yeah, live with it basically, even if that sounds hard. But it is still a nice animal, don't get me wrong. But yeah, should you buy the DLC? That of course always depends on you if you want these animals to have in your zoo, if you want to have these pieces in your zoo, these plants. If so, then of course I would say yes, you should buy it. If you don't have the money, then maybe wait for a sale if you don't want to buy it outright, or if you are not too sure. But I would say it is definitely a pack that is worth yeah, to buy and to have in your game, because it adds a lot of new stuff and new exciting stuff to Planet Zoo. And with that, I would say we are at the end of our video, so I hope you had an amazing time with me and yeah, you saw everything you needed to see. Let me know in the comments, what are you most excited for, which animal you want to build most for, and what ideas do you have to make with the new pieces, for example. And if you do so, maybe also consider maybe liking the video or subscribing if you haven't already, to show me that you want to support me in the future. And with that, I would say I see you guys in the next video. And until then, have a great time. Happy release day of the DLC tomorrow. And stay safe. Goodbye, everyone.